Welcome, everybody. Looking for a mic check. Let me know if I sound clear in here. I'm going mobile this morning, but I felt it imperative to drop these bombs today. I'm gonna walk it real slow. I'm in no hurry today. I just want to make sure I have a mic check and everything is sounding clear before we proceed. Let me know for a mic check. Let me know if I'm sounding clear for you. It's mic check, mic check. I see you, G-Man. I see you 30 below. Give me a mic check. Gotta get everything turned down, everything turned up. Won't proceed until I get a mic check for the crowd. Let me know I'm reaching out to y'all. Let's do this. I need a mic check. Am I good? Okay, G-Man said loud and clear. Thank you, fam. G-Man, 30 below, to the Mighty Chat Pack, to those listening from abroad, near, close, far, from all those around the country, from all those around the backwoods, dirt streets, neighborhoods, cities, states, continents. Welcome to Di-RRec Gaming. Happy 4th. Happy Saturday. Everybody's blessed. Up. We here. I want to get all the salutations out of the way. G-Man, I'm finna do this, man. It's gonna be one of them shows, fam. I'm gonna do this. So that's why I'm going mobile today, because I want y'all to see where all this pretending is coming from. It's all pretending, because the industry already knew what was ahead of us. A part of being a company, you don't go by the moments. No company goes by the moments, people. Major companies make projections. They make what you call forecasting. And so you come in with visions, then you may make them into increments, right? For a year. The year might be the vision of, okay, we want to hit this right here to jumpstart our business. So within the first year, we want to make this. After that first year, they may put projection into it. And that's what we're going to do. Within that fifth year, that will be actually 6 years into that company, they're looking at 10th year and all they can do that can set them up for the future. No company just goes month to month, day to day. Nobody does that. You have to be prepared. Even ants do that. Anything that has to deal with building kingdoms do that. You don't go day to day. You make projections. And so everything that we're seeing today was built off projections. Now, the company that can bring forth what they're doing in a way that is received by consumers, that's what this is basically all about. It's how you carry your product throughout the years and you build that relationship with your consumer that makes your consumer feel like, hey, you know what? This is the best of this company because this does this or that for me. It's a relationship in a way. It's weird, but it's a consumer relationship. This is why you have people who are loyal to the brand, so to speak. They're loyal to the brand because they know that what they're getting from this company suits their needs. It's not a super weird thing. It's just people like what they like. And if something ain't broke, they don't try to fix it, right? They try to improve on it. So I'm going to do something real quick, and y'all let me know if y'all hear this, because I don't know if it's going to ricochet or not. Let me do this real quick, and then we're gonna see. I'm gonna pull up a previous old video clip, and let's just see if it'll work. Y'all let me know if it comes in clear and y'all can hear this, because what I'm going to do is play y'all some stuff, lead y'all all up into things, and then I'm gonna be reading off some stuff. Okay, so let me know, G-Man, if you hear this clear or not. I don't know how it's gonna work, but let's see. Hopefully it does. All right, we're gonna go with this. Let's see. I'm gonna turn it up. Just like yo, G-Man, could you hear that? Could you hear all of that? Oh, you can't hear that? Oh, that's crazy. Hold on. It was kind of muffled. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Hey, don't worry about it. It's muffled, right? I'm gonna do it one more time. Do that. Hey, G-Man, thanks for that test. But I had a backup plan. I had a backup plan, so don't worry. We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way then. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you, GP. Let's do this, man. I got this stuff. I had a backup plan. And what I do have, I'll go over it. I'll go over it. So we're gonna start this up soon. Di-RRec Gaming, everybody. I go by the name of the new legal. Good morning to everybody. Mobile today, I'm actually using my ROG Xbox Ally X. It's a beautiful device when I'm doing this. Hopefully everything remains clear, nice and sound. And if for some reason I muzzle, just let me know and I'll repeat what I was saying. Shouts to G-Man. Shouts to everybody here. 30 below. Everybody here that's looking from afar. We're going to get this thing started, y'all. It's a slow cooker today. Y'all pull up, enjoy this morning breeze, kick back, eat some breakfast, drink y'all some tea, some coffee, whatever y'all do. We're going to get this thing started. Let's go.
The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Welcome to Di-RRec Gaming, everybody. It's the new legal. Thank y'all all for coming in today. As I proceed to give you what you need, we're going to get right to it. Y'all for having patience with me. I was trying to do something a little different, but that's okay. We'll switch it up. We'll get it back on the go. Like I said, if I go in and out, let me know. Feel free. I'll be looking at y'all, looking at the comments, but I'm going off that top rope. It's gonna be a I'm leaping off a skyscraper, so this elbow smash is going to be ridiculous once it contacts. So here we are, right? 2026, right? And the big news is physical copies fading away. Now, now that the gaming industry has been exposed, right? And you see how most of these content creators that dibble and dab within the industry, you see the reason very clear as to why they're like they are. They know that there's going to be a penalty if they cross the line. We've seen it, so don't act like you don't know. Don't act like you don't. You're confused on why you always get regurgitated news, because they know if they do certain things, they're losing those codes. They're losing those reviews. They're losing the so-called circle community that they have. We call it the jerkle circle. That's what we call it, the jerkle circle. And so much, but you're going to stay within the boundaries of what the gaming outlets and articles presumably put out to the public. It's all organized. It's all set up that way. These rumors and these fake insiders, all that's set up because, as you can see, when catastrophic events happen, you are not warned. So think about it in reality. A low pressure disturbance starts to develop in the Atlantic Ocean. And I'm just going to use my state for Texas as an example. And down by Corpus Christi, imagine millions of people don't get a warning. And that low pressure disturbance develops into a hurricane, level 1, a level 2, a level 4. And now it's a record-breaking category level 5 hurricane. No warning. People just look around, see these heavy clouds, and that's nothing unusual. We get storm clouds all the time. Nobody's tripping, but then that wind gust comes up. Hold on, wait a minute. We're getting 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 mile per hour wind. What's going on? By that time, it's too late to evacuate. In real life, that would be catastrophic, right? So how is it that the gaming media can put out little silly rumors that they still won't answer this question, right? They won't answer this question as to who's telling y'all to say this goofy stuff. They just little silly rumor article after rumor article after rumor article, but nobody ever holds them accountable. Have y'all ever wondered that? They just say anything. You ever wonder why specific YouTubers get tied into specific journal? Well, we say journalism, but that's funny. Little gaming media articles from people that claim to not even be journalists. So the fact that they're not even claiming to be journalists, like Christopher Jean, like Jim. So that means they're just like you and me, run their mouths. The difference is you don't have a platform, G-Man, Talos Reed, Ron, below, to the viewer out there looking, to the viewers out there listening. The difference is you don't have a big platform. That's the difference. They get to run their mouths, but they're just like you and me. Nothing of significant value that brings any substance to the culture of gaming. And that's where the problem is at. Nobody brings the significant value to the culture of gaming. But then it gets a little deeper, right? They tend to have amnesia. They tend to think that you don't remember nothing. They tend to think that we as gamers, we're just people who pick up a controller blindly, play on these gaming platforms blindly, and we don't pay attention to what's going on blindly. But that's so far from the truth. Gamers are not dumb. We battles in between platforms. But gamers are not dumb. They tend to pay attention. But sometimes our flag gets too passionate. Sometimes we get lost in translation. Sometimes we get too competitive and they seize in that moment. I attest that being an Xbox super fan. See, because I'm not embarrassed to say that. I'm an Xbox super fan. And if that rubs you wrong, why should I care? If for some reason PR teams don't like that, why should I care? Because Christopher Dream and people like Jez Court and them, they're not professionals. They're just part of an entity that has a bigger platform than most of us. But they themselves said they're not journalists. So if they're not journalists, why should anyone care so deeply about what any of them say? And I'm just using them two as an example. Confess this. I'll give them props for doing that. At least they openly confessed it. So we know basically what the other ones are. Tom Warren, he works for The Verge. He actually does journalistic work. Does he get goofy and corny at times as well? Yes. But Tom Warren is more on a professional side of things. But I mean, it's very limited. They just need talking points because this is gaming, people. You don't have professional heads reporting from gaming. You don't. We get those Bloomberg interviews and stuff like that. Yes. But those are just the interviews. We don't have continual articles from names that we know are reliable sources. Now listen, you got to give it up to people like Jason Schreier, who tries. Who tries. He's on the journalistic side. He tries. Matt Presbitella tries. They get a little bit, try to get a little bit deeper. Now, they're not goofy like Grumps. Nobody cares about what Grumps says. That's goofiness. That's L's walking. We're talking about people who really try to get underneath the grease, right? And then that's pretty much it. We don't really have, what you would have out here, media news. We don't really have that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have like good sources. Now, what's for your like main news is straight out of YouTube. Why? Actual news from other places outside of our little, like I look at the gaming media like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, media news. I look at them like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't look at them as if direct sources. I put it like this. The Weather Channel, right? Weather people who go out, storm chasers. I'm trying to show you the differences. Storm chasers who are literally out there as the storm is arriving to when the storm hits to where they get somewhere that's safe and they're showing you live footage. That's for the culture. They're doing it. You wonder, man, those guys and those ladies are crazy. But look, they're getting that money, right? They understand safety. They understand how far to take it. But the main reason why they're doing it is for the culture of weather. And at the same time, they're willing to put their own lives at risk, just at risk, not in jeopardy, but at risk to save millions more. Right? They're willing to give you the first eye view. Right? You even had those storm chasers way up in the sky flying those planes to give direct concordance of the weather, of the storm, where it's pinpoint accuracy. They have the radar technology and all of that stuff. That's for the culture. So you always can see the differences between the two. Always. And when I look at the gaming streets, this is for Microsoft to hear, right? When I look at the gaming streets of Xbox, I don't find truth on YouTube. I don't find truth in the gaming articles. I find truth within the core of its fans that know what it is to be down here on the foundational aspects of Xbox. Not somebody who just wants to get into a mic and become part of the Jerkle circle. It's nobody out here that can just come out here, nobody, and blow up so fast. That's the first hints. When you got this marketing stuff backing you up, of course your channel will blow up. But if you're a normal person that's just out here to talk passionate about gaming, don't nobody know you, your channel don't blow up like that. You're speaking from the culture side of things, tied to nothing. So, they put these influencers here, and it's fake because how do you have all of this following, but your videos nobody cares to watch? You got all this following, but when you make a post, nobody's there. It's empty. It's like a beautiful building with nobody in it. Who does that? Who builds buildings so beautifully and they're not accustomed by human beings? Nobody's in them. Who makes graves and puts beautiful coffins down under and there's no bodies in them? Who does that? So with that, and y'all know this ain't regurgitated nothing. This is research, this is value, this is substance, and I only do this because I love the culture of gaming. I only do this because of that. That's the only reason I'm here. Whether people like it or not, okay, cool. Whether DIRREC gaming blew, okay, cool. But it won't be because the industry is tied to me. It'll be because this is a built fans first, then real gamers second, and then those who just like the truth third. And we come to give you the truth, nothing but the truth. So help us. So with that production right there, it's taken 22 minutes to get to this point. We're going to start at 2013, and we're going to start first, right? Because everybody seems to think that all this stuff that's happening right now is just, it just happened out of nowhere, right? But let's look at the projection. Microsoft's digital first strategy for Xbox traces back to the controversial 2013 Xbox One reveal. Now, what I was trying to do was I had some clips that, but it doesn't look over like what a natural camera would do with a microphone, because this doesn't really have a natural it doesn't have a camera back to a microphone setting. So it's going to be kind of hard to convert that sound. So that's one thing that this device will not be able to do. We know it doesn't have a camera, but it sound back up into it to display it back to the viewers to be able to hear it. So with that, I wasn't going back to the controversial 2013, which we all know, right? During the Xbox One reveal. Though they initially walked back aggressively, always online and digital only DRM plans, they ultimately achieved this goal by integrating the Microsoft Store as they unified storefront, releasing disc-free Xbox One S. Remember that? All digital edition in 2019. I'm clipping. All right. I know exactly what to do with that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. I know exactly what to do with that. I'm going to go into my major settings. I know exactly what to do. We're going to get this ready. Let me go and do. All right. All right. I'm back. Thank you, 30 below. I needed to know that. I fixed it. Shouldn't have no more of that. Let me know if I'm clipping again. So as we know that Microsoft, I'll just start this over real quick. Okay, so we all know that Microsoft digital first strategy for Xbox traces back to the controversial 2013 Xbox One reveal, right? Though they initially walked back aggressively, always online, and digital-only DRM's plans, they ultimately achieved this goal by integrating the Microsoft Store as the unified storefront, releasing the disc-free Xbox One S all-digital edition in 2019. That's where I want to stop at. So for 6 years, people, thanks, Rachie. For 6 years, y'all, Microsoft already had this plan. It took them 6 years to actually put a console out that was discless because they were watching how things are going. Remember what I said? These companies look at the data. They look at the data, y'all. They're not just doing things randomly. So even though Microsoft had this in mind for 2013, they finally put something out that describes their vision in 2019. Now, when you think about that, that's only been what? Less than 7 years ago. And phasing out physical Xbox 360 marketplace purchases by mid 2024. Two years ago. Almost exactly 2 years ago. So we on the Xbox side of things, as Xbox fans, we were being groomed into the future slowly but surely. That's what a smart company does with its customers. They slowly get you to evolve because they see that this is where it's going. We can't just cut them off and tell them, hey, all right, we're going to do this, but we got to show them. We got to let them know that, hey, we're going to give you the options. We're going to slowly get you here as we're phasing out things. And we know y'all going to be asking questions. We're going to be letting y'all know while it's going so that you will soon enough get used to it. You will learn that, hey, this is where it's going. You're not just going to be shut off completely and be enraged because you don't know why now everything is happening the way it's happening. This is how you know the industry knows that this was coming. All right. The timeline of how this strategy was materialized, 2013, it was revealed. Microsoft attempted to tie physical discs to accounts, positioning every game as a digital entitlement to eliminate used games. Severe backlash caused them to abandon this specific DRM, but the digital version remained. 2017, store unification. The dedicated Xbox Game Store was officially replaced by the Microsoft Store, bridging ecosystem seamlessly between Xbox, Windows, PC users. Now, I'm talking to my Xbox fans right now. They're not lost. Nobody in the Xbox land is lost. They know exactly where I'm going with this walkthrough. 2019, all digital hardware. Microsoft launched the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, giving users their first mainstream discless console and setting the tone for the current Xbox Series S. 2024, 360 store closure. The classic 360 digital store permanently shut down on July 29, 2024, closing a 18-year chapter for legacy digital titles. 18 years. What are we celebrating? The 25th year. 7 years ago. 2026, the shift in physical media. Following Sony's decisions to halt physical PlayStation 5 game disc production, Microsoft has closed eternal retail publishing departments and is testing a disc to digital conversion program for Xbox One and Series X disc. That is the rumor. We don't know that for sure. Remember this, you always wait for the confirmation of Microsoft to do it. This is why you have to understand and give Microsoft its props. It always did what? Backwards compatibility. It did that because it knew a diskless future was ahead of us. We knew this from the music industry. Now, who's the biggest industry now? Who's the biggest one? Gaming. And gaming does what? Influences all the other ones, right? There you go. So when you think about it, you look at how PlayStation carried itself. This is where it gets funny, because I actually had visuals and audio. But what I'm going to do for y'all today is I'm going to put it in this chat room for y'all. I had a backup plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this in here for y'all to look at. So they know that what I'm saying, I don't bring the lies. But y'all already know I don't do that. But for those that are new here, we don't do that. So I'm going to put it in here just for y'all so y'all can follow me. And when y'all are watching those, when y'all have the time to watch those, look at the arrogance and look through the eyes. Look through the eyes, and you can see how people were just effortlessly, with this nonchalant care in the world, that Sony was just going to gallop through the lilies and the daisies and the roses and all this other stuff with ease. Like there's nothing that can go wrong with the PlayStation. Nothing. Notice how carefree they were. They were, and I want y'all to see, I'm putting these in here because I want y'all to see something. I want you to see how they just stomped on Microsoft. Deep down, everybody that had a mic was a PlayStation fan. Notice there wasn't no Xbox fans. Notice. And I'm gonna give you that classic Jeff Keighley mic drop. Don't ever forget about that. Don't ever forget about that. That classic mic drop moment. You know Jeff Keighley loved that. He loved it. So I'm gonna give all of this to y'all right here in the chat pack. Now y'all gonna see the audio visuals that I was gonna give y'all. Y'all have it now. Y'all can look at that. Look at that, because in those are the truths. Okay? In those are the truth. So I'm going right here. Everybody that Sony rewrote its E3 PlayStation 4 script after seeing the response to Xbox One, says Andrew House. Andrew House spoke on it first. He spoke on it first. He wasn't supposed to, but he spoke on it first. Polygon in July 10th of 2014. Notice, almost a year later, the report came through. You can't make this up, but watch how they try to flip it. Watch how they try to flip it. I'm going to send you the article. Don't worry. I want everybody to know. I want everybody to see what I'm seeing. I'm sending it to y'all right now. You can't make this stuff up. They saw the backlash. So the pretending was, oh, Sony was out for their customers all the time. They were all for their customers. When you look at the video, that's what my man was saying from the jump. He was saying from the jump. He was doing the interviews. Oh, we were here for our customers. We were thinking about our customers. They knew to keep saying that because they had something that had happened to them that they were unexpected. Jack Trenton looked at everybody in their face, and his spirit was full of lies. He knew that what they did wasn't their initial plan. That's it, G-Man. Jack Trenton knew that deep down in his soul. You can look at it. When you look at him, pay attention to his eyes, man. You can tell a lot about somebody. That's why he's no longer there. All of them dudes, all of them, because they were all puppets. Every last one of them were all puppets. They balked on their show. Their original show was supposed to be just like Microsoft. 13 was to push the new tech forward, push of games. And what it was, Sony and them were pushing the fact that they finally can make these immersive, emotional, driven games, single player games that where the gamer themselves, more cinematic, more Hollywood. When you look at the videos, it'll tell you. That's what they were pushing. While Microsoft was pushing technology. Look, so that people who were in areas that could not get to the hardware could still be able to play video games through whatever device they might have. So it was really Microsoft who was trying to expand gaming. Sony was the top of Hollywood. Because they were looking at it as if they needed to bridge the gap between their movies, their gaming, their media. That's Sony. Sony never put gaming, the gaming culture first. Never. The whole reason they're even in here isn't even about the culture of gaming. They're in here because they were mad at Nintendo and wanted to destroy Nintendo. That's it. They wanted to wipe Nintendo off the face of the earth. That's why I could never rock with them. When I was young, I saw that. I was like, nah, man. The console ain't about wiping nobody out the map. It's just about competing real hard. We want to see the video games come out of this. Nintendo has always been here for the culture, right? Sega was always here for the culture, right? Even when they were fighting, even when they were battling, they were still for the culture. That's why Sega's still here. Sega's integrated. They make their own video games. You can't stop them. They do whatever they want to do because they can make their own video games. They've been doing that for eons. The reason why Nintendo isn't relied on for pushing the industry is because, first of all, they're shorthanded on studios. They don't have enough studios. And second of all, Nintendo doesn't make big budget games where technology can be advanced through Nintendo. Nintendo's in a friendly family kid space, and that's where they want to stay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I told y'all, the problem when everybody keeps thinking that Nintendo's invincible, they're not. Just look at their history. They're not invincible. Their worst weapon is not their fan base, like Sony's. Sony's worst enemy is their own fan base. Microsoft's worst enemy is their projection of technology. See, Microsoft has to hit it right. It's harder for them because they're big tech. Nintendo, it's just pricing. Because when you're not making big budget games and your console's expensive, it doesn't make sense to the consumer. So look at the struggles of each one. Right now, what I'm saying is true. The Switch 2 is having problems. It's about to have massive problems because when September the 1st, if I'm not wrong, I think that date is right. September the 1st of this year, a price hike's fixing to hit them. That console is going to be over $500 some. You have to be a super duper Nintendo fan to want to buy the Switch for over $500 some, which we know it's not going to work. While everything's expensive right now, for that Switch 2 to be over $500 some with very few games, yeah, then you wonder why Nintendo was nervous right now. Okay. So for everybody that kept telling me in the beginnings are legal now, they're going to buy it anyway, didn't do their homework. Because that's never been the case for Nintendo consoles or Nintendo devices. People just never just went out there and bought it just because they bought it. They went out there and bought it because it's cheap. Now, for those that sit up there and say, oh, gaming was never expensive. Yes, it was. You ain't lived long enough. When you looking at it, you going back in the days, you seeing, look, console $125, $150, $200. I told you, you didn't live back in that time. That economy was different. $200 some for a console was expensive. Those games cost $6, $7 back then, expensive. That's why people only had one console, only bought 2 games a year if they were lucky. We swapped our games around. Now notice, I want to say that because I want to show y'all how goofy it is today. Right now, people are talking about their physical copies, right? People talk about their physical copies and they're crying, right? But look who's doing that crying. It's the PlayStation community. Why? Because with their fakery and fraudulent activity as gamers, right? We've seen them. We've already went through the console wars with them. We already saw their trophy count. They're bronze winners more than they're anything else. All right. We already know how weak that trophy system is. All right. And all the big wigs up there that tend to flex, a lot of them are just bronze champions. They're bronze champions. They're bronze warriors. For the most part, like any other real gamer out there, we play these games leisurely. We may get to the end. Some of them games we may not. It's just what it is. If another game that comes out grabs your attention, you're gonna stop playing that game. You're gonna jump over that game. That's just what we do. That doesn't mean, oh, because he ain't finishing this and he ain't put those were the narratives of the donkey community. They created all of these narratives because the reflection was really about them. They just wanted everybody else to look like them. But everybody else didn't look like them because everybody else played their games. They were the ones not playing their games. They got caught in the media. They were happy. They're complacent that their console was outselling Xbox, right? Because because they were on that high horse. Can you imagine being a fan base that sold 155 consoles on the PlayStation 2, and in the very next generation, you lose? Imagine being them. Imagine being them. The 360 took over the market. The 360 took over the gaming market. Notice, Nintendo ain't took over the gaming market in eons. This is why they hate Xbox so much, because Xbox came out with its second console and backhand slapped them, gave them a backhand, spun them around a few times, and then grabbed them and sat them down and showed them what a real gaming community looked like. Because remember, the 360 wasn't sold off of Netflix. That ain't what it was sold off of. The 360 was on the big wave of the community, the parties, the chat. It was built upon that. It came with the headsets and everything. That console was meant for gaming. It was a Leviathan. It was a movement. The 360 changed the way console gamers played outside of their homes, right? We were all connected through Xbox Live, through the service. Think about that. PlayStation Network couldn't even mess with Xbox Live. Xbox Live stomped PSN. And when they were gradually bringing PlayStation 4 in, they started charging. Remember that? Oh, you got to pay an extra $5 for a service fee to do this. And then they were slowly trying to integrate them. But all those years beforehand, Sony was willing to pay a third party for that. That was never Sony's platform. Think about that. Xbox Live is Microsoft's platform. Always has been. Game Pass is Xbox Live, just different term, different name. Still Xbox Live. They ain't change it. They just use it differently now. Think about that. I just want y'all to think about that. When you look at this dude, man, he was lying all the way. Because they knew. They knew, y'all. They knew all along. They rewrote it. After seeing the negative response to Microsoft's Xbox One launch, Sony's Andrew House rewrote some of the script that will later be used during the company's PlayStation 4 presentation at E3 2013. He revealed during this year's Develop Conference. According to Sony Computer Entertainment head, the script was the result of reading concerns that PlayStation would eventually follow Microsoft's lead and adopt similar restrictive policies. Now, right? While he's being interviewed, CNET, while he's being interviewed, interview by King Donkey, Jeff Keighley, he's lying and saying they always had this thought of customers first. That's why I'm showing y'all this. So y'all can go do your own research. Go look at what I showed y'all. It's right there in the chat. Go look. Listen to him. He lies right there. Now notice it has about everything. Right there, bro. They've been this. We've been telling them this for years, that Sony's okey doking y'all. All they ever did was get mad at us and make fun of us and say we're lying to them. Notice they ain't saying that today. At the time of Xbox One's reveal, Microsoft confirmed its initial policies regarding digital rights management, which is DRM for short, and used games. However, House notes that Sony policies didn't change at any point. It made us feel a little bit clearer about our message. See that? He said during his presentation this week, when a lot of the negativity was emerging around DRM issues and used games, I remember reading an article literally the weekend before E3 that was basically saying that this is the direction Microsoft was taking and that it was only a matter of time before Sony adopts the same approach. Body, was Microsoft lying? I'm reading. Mike, see, Andrew House ego, the Sony ego got into their hearts. So they're basically, we're not gonna follow y'all right now. We're gonna show the whole world that we can do it on our own. We're gonna do something different right now. See what I'm saying? Right now. Because look where they just went right now. Who are they following right now? Listen to what he says. That sort of put me on the back foot. What does that mean, people? In our lingo today, that means it made it type of way, G-Man. Feelings when he heard that. When he heard that bold proclamation from Microsoft while he's reading that article, Andrew House felt some type of way. He got into his feelings. He became emotional. Andrew House created this emotional, vaginal aspect from Donkey Land. And you wonder why they're emotional and vaginal all the time. He got emotional, and so he changed it up. He sort of put me on the back foot. And I went to rewrote portions of my E3 presentation script that weekend. And we recrafted the presentation because there was now a oneness on us not to be seen to be going down the same path. Told you. He wanted to give a perception. Uh-oh, there's that word again. We didn't want people to think that we would actually be going down the same same path, but following them same footprints. But we were, but we didn't want nobody to know that. So we want that we keep our consumers as first and put first on this. That's 16 years ago. That's 16 years of manipulation. And don't even laugh. I mean, if you want to laugh, you can laugh, but that's crazy. When you think about it, they succeeded because these donkeys, no matter what Sony does to them, they loved it. Everything that goes wrong, they loved it. They never demanded better. They loved it. Like I've always told y'all, the reason why they loved it, as long as that console's outselling Xbox, we don't care. Sony VP of Worldwide Studios Scott Rowe made similar comments to Polygon last year. telling us that the PlayStation 4's price point and DRM policies were not created in response of the earlier Xbox One reveal. Now they're lying. You see, when you're caught in that corner, notice how everybody has different sayings. Somebody's lying. Was it Andrew Trout? Was it Andrew House? Was it Scott Rhodes? Somebody's lying. I literally had goosebumps right now because that was always our plan. Lying. You see? Rhodes told us at the time. Notice. He lied right there. Andrew House comes out a year later and confesses to the lies. But in the moment, Sony lying. I literally have goosebumps right now because that was always our plan, Rhodes told us at the time. It's something that we believe in. If you laughing, go, man. You gotta love these Sony leaders, bro. They're hilarious. We know gamers come first. We know what they want. I was personally overwhelmed with the massive explosion on Twitter, with everyone essentially begging, please don't do this, Sony. Listen to them donkeys. They got off on looking at their fan base beg. They said they were beggars. Look at them today. MGB can't stop begging. Look at their so-called head mascot Twitter influencers. They're all on their knees. They're not strong leaders. Instead, doing them, you ignore. You already have signs. Stupid to admit that Sony played y'all. Y'all went along with the joyride. The truth. There's no need to get mad at Sony. Sony hasn't done anything wrong. Y'all were the ones that didn't buy these games. Y'all forced Sony into doing what they didn't want to do. Break this. They didn't want to break this news across y'all's heads, but guess what? Eventually they were going to do it. Y'all just wanted to pretend that it wasn't going to happen because you used a narrative to do what? Throw jabs at the Xbox community. You kept Xbox rent-free in y'all's mind for 16 years. Y'all did this. Now you're going to be left behind. Now all of a sudden, you're fake. See, the Xbox community showed its true self during the Xbox One era, when the whole media and everybody lied about Xbox One, saying PlayStation was outselling it 3-1. I'm talking to y'all right now. Remember how we had to go up against every negative article ever made on God's green earth? See, she doesn't know nothing about that. You got to get on Twitter X and let us why we're sick and tired of this gaming media. Tired of them. And so, hey, you still who are popular. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. You don't need to know a rumor. But all you got to do is put yourself in reality mode. Who walks around with rumors? Because rumors are weak. Nobody walks around with rumors. Nobody goes around spreading rumors on people. You know what happens when you spread rumors on people. So you go to the source. That's the real way we handle things in real life. Shouts to my man Rain G4 saying, legal sounds like he's cooking on the radio. What is it? Oh, because that's on the radio. Look, famo, it's like this, right? You have to look at this. One company was escorting its fan base through time. integrating, right? Integrating them, grooming them to be prepared for something that's coming, right? While the other one wanted to keep this perception that all along they were looking out for their fan base. We know that's a lie. They saw the Twitter outrage of begging. Please don't do this, Sony. Please don't do this, PlayStation. It was so hard not to say right away, well, we never were going to do that. See? Man, I'm cooking, man. I know. Some whoop yourself. I know. This is why they hate direct gaming. Because I don't play with them. I shoot straight right through them. There's not a donkey here. There's not a donkey there that can mess with me, man. I already know what they're conditioned to. They're conditioned to the lie. And how do you combat a lie? You just tell the truth. That's all. It's easy. They don't know what they're talking about. Donkeys don't know what they're talking about. Because all they can do is give you lies. Why do you think they constantly keep getting L's? I keep telling y'all on Twitter, the L is coming, the L is coming, the L is coming. No matter who says it in Donkey Land, the L is coming. Because they don't know how to tell the truth. Because they were never given the truth. I just told you. He just said it was so hard not to say right away, well, we never were going to do that. But now let's have a little fun. They think that's funny. This is Sony leadership. This is Rhodes saying this. This is Scott Rhodes who said this. Let's have a little fun and announce it in a fun way at the PlayStation's press conference. The joke's on you, donkeys. The joke's been on you. But you didn't know this. But you did, but you ignored it because this article came out 2014. You read this article because y'all are on social media 3-1. Y'all beat us 3-1. Y'all thrive off of this because you know all these gaming media outlets are designed for y'all. It's not designed for us. So y'all read this. Where was y'all's outrage then? We didn't see it. No, you was cool with it because the PlayStation 4 was outselling the Xbox One. I told y'all where it lies at for them. Legal using a PlayStation controller as a mic. I'm out here, y'all, doing my best. Y'all hear me good? Can y'all hear me though? Am I good? Am I checking on y'all? Let me know if I'm good. Hey, I'm not gonna let y'all know that I'm using a PlayStation controller, but am I good though? Are we good? Okay, y'all just okay, let me know. All right. For different people, I might be a little bit choppier than others because I'm mobile, but forgive me. Let me know. And if I say something you didn't pick up, let me know. I'll go right back over it. Hey, y'all will never know if I'm using those PlayStation devices. Y'all will never know. I'm gonna pull a Sony on y'all. But Rhodes admits they were gonna do it anyway at the PlayStation press conference. They were gonna fool them. Could not believe how much the roof came down with the applause Rhodes added. It was awesome. Sony also announced the PlayStation 4 would launch for $399. A good $100 cheaper than the price announced for Microsoft. They knew that was a lie too. The PlayStation 4 was going to come out for $499.99. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. That $100 decrease was just to seize the moment. And when you look at the things that I sent y'all, those videos, they admit that. They admit that. Now let's get to digital gaming purchases. Let's get to that. Man, y'all over here clowning the hell out of me, man. Man, look, I'm not gonna tell y'all. Man, got me over here cracking up. Hey, yo, I'm using that first 360, this 360 that came in the box. That came in the box, the beta. Hey, yo, I'm using the beta test Xbox Live mic. Look, digital gaming purchases now vastly outpace physical ones, okay, everybody? Averaging about 80% to 85% of total console software sales. Okay, so when you look up how these companies give up on a certain thing, is when they start to see that the certain thing that used to be what was going on gets close to 10%. Okay? So right now, while we're here today, shout out to everybody that's here. Sony is seeing that on their side of things, they done hit that 10% or under. Now remember, Sony already put out the word that I don't know if it was actually a year ago, but not more than a year ago. The data showed that they hit a 93% digital sale worldwide. So they hit 93%. That means only 7% were buying physicals. It's time to let it go. Now, if you still at 80%, physical still at 20%, 20% is still a big number. You'll still hang on to that. But no company's going to hang on to a 7% estimate. You're not making that money in. It becomes useless. And this is what the PlayStation fan base is not understanding. It's them. It's them. I'm gonna digital gaming purchases now vastly outpace physical ones, averaging 80 to 85% of total console software sales. Physical sales account for the remaining 15% to 20%. It's dropping, people. It's dropping. This divide is even starker for publishers like Capcom, who report over 93% of their sales were digital. The landscape of physical versus digital sales breaks down in a few key ways. Here it goes. Overall console trends across the industry, digital purchases accounted for roughly of Sony's full game PlayStation software sales last year. In response, Sony announced plans to completely phase out physical disc manufacturing for a new game starting in January 2028. The single player discrepancy. While overall metrics favor digital, physical media remains heavily sought after for specific genres. When a major single-player story-driven game like Astrobot or Spider-Man 2 receives a simultaneously physical and digital launch, physical disc sales often represent 40 to 55% of total units sold. That's where, but what MGB ain't telling you, he ain't telling you the whole truth. See, they don't do that in their fan base. He wants you to stop right there and say, see that problem. See, copies are still being sold on PlayStation. Revenue differences. The margin is even more dramatic when looking at profits. companies generate significantly higher margins on digital downloads compared to physical distribution, which is why platforms are leaning entirely into digital distribution. Now we're gonna get even more to it. We're not stopping there. Why is digital market so significant? Right? You got to ask yourself why then. So why then? This is where MGB didn't want to break it down. He wanted you to stop right there, PlayStation fanboy. He didn't want you to dig any deeper. He wanted you to see that that's the problem. And we're talking about Astrobot when it released and it didn't even sell 1.5 million. It didn't even do 1.5 million. So who cares? Was he using that as a flex? Digital markets excel over physical ones primarily because they eliminate geographic constraints. I'm going to say that again. What people got to understand is when you're doing physical copies, you're limiting your money. Okay? And it's okay during a time when companies could limit their money because things were a lot cheaper. Technology wasn't all there yet. And things were a lot more simplified. But as the vision trajectory continues to grow, new tech comes in, new bigger possibilities are given to devs, and we have larger, more engineered technology to advance things. Now you have possibilities of expanding and reaching more people than you were possibly before. Nobody in business is going to limit themselves from getting more business. Nobody. So with physical copies, you limit yourself. The reason why physical copies are still here is because there was a certain percentage that was still buying it on a continual basis, not just when a single player game comes out. Okay? But on a continual basis. That's what MGB is not saying. He wants you to think it happens all the time. It doesn't happen all the time. Will you believe in that PlayStation fans are consistent in anything? That's something to laugh at right now. Nobody believes that. So digital excels because it primarily eliminates geographic constraints. They operate with drastically lower overhead costs and provide near infinite scalability. Furthermore, they allow for instant, frictionless delivery and highly measurable data-driven marketing that physical storefronts cannot easily replicate. Core reasons for this digital superiority include, here we go. This is something where physical copies just can't do, okay? Global reach and scalability. Unlike a physical brick and mortar location limited by foot traffic and local geography, a digital market has a global reach. Now, we're going to stop right there and we're going to read. And did they not tell us, everybody, that past 2030, 2030, 2035, 2 million gamers, billion. They want us accessible billion people because they're sick. They want to get because there's billions of people who play video games. You can't do that with physical copies. Physical copies gonna limit you to that. A product can be sold to millions of users instantly without requiring additional manufacturing, warehousing, or complex supply chain logistics. See, some people don't even realize the actual business of this stuff. They don't think that supply chain logistics account for anything. But guess what? Monty Chat Pack, they do, they just want to ignore it. What's affecting the world right now? Tariffs. My country's president done something real dumb. As a result, we as Americans have no allies. Because when you do tariffs, you make it harder for the consumer because you want to tax other countries for their exports. When you do that, the victims are the people who are working in your country because the big businesses aren't going to pay for that. You are. And because you're paying for that, you're taking care of the complex supply chain logistics. You're doing that. As a result, they'll combat it. As a result, prices go up. We're going to sit up here today, July 4th, and we're really going to act like we don't know what's going on. We know exactly what's going on. And so your preferred platform is made in America. It's being directly victimized by political warfare. Everything is being messed up by politics right now. So as a result, lower overhead costs. Operating a digital business avoids the major expenses associated with physical environments, such as commercial rent, utilities, inventory storage, a large in-store staffing. This typically yields much higher profit margins. I don't see nobody around here that's going to build for you. You got the money for that? All right, I only see Elon Musk doing that. I don't see nobody doing it. I don't see no billionaire, multi-millionaire, nobody putting their money up to preserve the physical culture of anything. Right, G-Man, we live in America. Facts. Data-driven targeting. Digital markets utilize advanced tracking and analytic tools like those found in Scaleforce Digital Marketing and Vistaprint marketing hubs to precisely target audiences based on demographics, online behavior, exact location. This means marketing dollars are spent only in the most relevant prospects. These things about all cultures are different, right? There's cultures that like certain things, that prohibit certain things, and there's cultures that don't. Well, with the digital aspect, you can track those type of things. You can actually implement what cultures like what and what don't. And when you send certain games over, you don't have to worry about, oh, we have to bring this back because that's another expense. Once you send it out there and they don't like it, hey, we don't do that type of stuff. But we don't want to let our kid, and then you got to send all that costs. Digital is also instant accessibility and agility. Consumers can browse and purchase items 24/7 with immediate delivery. From a business perspective, digital products can be rapidly adapted, updated, and tested in real time based on immediate consumer feedback. Now, I'm not doing that for that. I'm just reading you the advantages of digital and meditating. This ain't years, y'all. This is 6 to where we're at. This is not this yesterday. Actionable measurability. Unlike physical advertising, like billboards or print, digital marketing offers immediate, clear analytics. You can track every click, conversion, and view in real time. And they don't. When we go on our Xbox, right? And we go to a game. And this is what PlayStation fans don't do. And we're looking to be, we click on the game. We can scroll down to reviews. Really? To really play the game. Leave the reviews there for us all to see. Instant. You scroll over and you look. Rating there. Any gamers it's Denton or it's mixed or it's just an match. We see that. We see all instantly. Right then and there. We don't have to go anywhere else. So when you think about the digital entity, we're pretending, because I used to have a whole massive library of CDs, musical CDs. I did. I don't anymore. And I'm not enraged. I'm not out here with cardboard writings saying I want my CDs back. I don't go to these stores boycotting them because they don't have CD and CD players for sale. Nobody does that. Why? Because CDs lost their dominance to MP3s primarily due to convenience, portability, and the rise of digital file sharing. That's why. We saw that. That's why. We saw the convenience. Now we're fixing to really get to it. There's another problem that we see. There's another problem that we see. And before we get to that, we know who they love to run to. The media loves to run to Sean Layden. And Sean Layden, former head of PlayStation Studios, he says he had no idea what was going to happen. He says, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I don't work in the business anymore. Maybe it's just too prohibitive, expensive to stamp out disc. Sony told everybody they were leaving the Blu-ray industry. He speaks about the growth of digital games market, which was already on the ascent before the COVID-19 pandemic. Notice that. I was right. 2018. COVID wasn't out yet. Let's talk about COVID, right? Because the industry wants to pretend. This is also on the industry. COVID comes out, people went in. Physical copies started to decline, right? Digital copies started to go up, right? And during that time, gaming went to new heights, record-breaking heights like never before seen. The industry got real greedy, y'all. All of them, Microsoft, Nintendo, PlayStation, whoever else we don't know, Steam and whoever else we don't know, and on the up and come, we don't know. But all of them got greedy. They started getting more devs in, hiring more devs. They built more studios. Hell, during the pandemic, look, ABK and Bethesda got bought. Can't make this stuff up. We hadn't been officially severely cleared just to good to go yet. People were still getting COVID during those times. Think about that. They bought up all kinds of stuff. And then as COVID started to disappear, right? Slow down, as I should say. It ain't disappear, but slow down. Get to where it wasn't an epidemic, pandemic, a bad situation, millions of deaths. It was horrible. Be thankful you lived through it. And that's just the beginning. You know, a lot of times a generation goes through one, but sometimes you get two. That's crazy. And each one we get is getting worse and worse and worse, right? Be thankful you lived through it, because there was many that didn't. And during people's deaths, these companies made massive money, record-breaking massive money. And as things slowed down, people went back to work. What do you think happened? Now they can't afford these big teams anymore. Why? Because people had to go back to work. We're talking right now. Told you I'm a slow cook. People had to go back to work. And when they went back to work, what did that do, people? It took away the time of gaming. And when it took away the time of gaming, more people spent less time gaming. And when that happened, where are they going to get that money at? And now you start to see studio closing. You start to see massive layoffs. They're not telling you. It's just, no, that's why. You just have to look at it. You can't just follow this gaming media. You'll never see it, because the gaming media is to keep you blind, to keep you on the, why is this happening? It's the gaming media's responsibility. But if you're paying attention, you can see it. You can see it. And so now these massive layoffs had to occur. People losing their jobs. They got a downscale. You heard the terminologies, downscale, all this stuff. And now here we are. The industry is dealing with the repercussions of being so greedy. Now a new shift has to take place. And now that the shift has to take place, resets and everything else from these companies have to take place. That comes in place with this media. The media is not innocent. The media knows the part that it plays in, people. It knows. I want to give a shout out to Abstract Concept, because he put something up out here, y'all, for everybody to read. And it was beautiful. But I've noticed when people put out truth, people don't run to that. They don't want the truth. But I'm going to give him a shout out. And I'm going to read it here on Di-RRec Gaming. He put out yesterday on Twitter X. It was called The Reality of Professionalism in Gaming Journalism. It's by Abstract Concept. Threw some knowledge out here. He says the gaming coverage has always been dominated by access journalism, not accountability journalism. The entire ecosystem runs on relationships and privileged access. That's it. That's what it is. Publishers and platform holders control the information flow through review copies, early builds, embargoes, press events, there you go, trips, and most importantly, advertising and sponsorship money. Your part, play along and stay in the circle. Push back too hard, and you're out. We saw this clearly in 2007 when GameSpot's editorial director Jeff Gertzman was fired after giving Kane and Lynch Deadman a low score. The publisher, Eidos, had significant advertising spend on the site. Years later, it was confirmed that publisher pressure played a role in his dismissal. Eidos had just a mid-tier company at the time. He managed the leverage when the entities evolved our platform holders worth hundreds of billions. I mean, of billions, hundreds of it. The scandal caused some temporary caution, but the underlying model never changed. The industry has since exploded in size. Today, here it is, y'all. Today, the global game industry generates well over 200 billion. How do you defeat that Leviathan? That Leviathan is meant to keep you blinded. Guess what that Leviathan cannot do? As much as the gaming media generates over 200 billion annually, it's larger than the film and music industries combined. It cannot save games from being bought. It cannot defeat the gamer. It cannot defeat the consumer. And it definitely cannot save a company when it makes bad decisions or when it makes decisions that needs to be done for the future of itself. It can't influence that. Yet its coverage is still largely governed by the same access-based dynamics that existed when gaming was a much smaller business. The fundamental practices governing its coverage never professionalized. Look what Astrap just said. It never professionalized. And so you have Chris Dream and people like Jess Gordon that come out and tell you, are not journalists. So why are y'all tripping? Why do you trip on something that's not even professionalized? This is why I kept telling people long ago on DIRREC Gaming that y'all are my fans. I'll listen to y'all before I listen to the gaming sites, because y'all are the ground troopers. Y'all are right here doing it. Y'all are the ones going to these stores or going online buying these video games. They're not. They don't. They get handed the game. They get the code. That's how they silence the true speakers. They institutionalize them. You ever wonder why your favorite YouTuber will only go so far? Well, you already know. It's you. If you want to stay blinded with it, you're part of the problem. Because in order for this stuff to change, y'all are the ones that are going to have to change. They fear y'all. It's y'all's activity that feeds the machine. The old blatant scandals became rarer, but not because the incentives disappeared. The system just simply evolved. Instead of over retaliation, the model now works in layers. Professional outlets and sponsored analysts. What? Sponsor? We just found that out about Chris Dream, didn't we? Produce core framing and data. A large network of YouTube channels. Y'all. TikTok creators and X accounts. Hold on. I just read to you back then in 2013, 16 years ago, that Sony was tripping off of what? The responses on Twitter. Who do they fear? Who do they go off of? You. The PlayStation fan base has failed because Sony knows that they pulled a Houdini on them. But when they were exposed to the truth, and Sony realized that, they watched and waited if anybody was actually going to rebel then. When they didn't rebel, Sony took that white cloth, wiped their forehead because they were nervous. And guess what? They said, let's continue on. Now they want to react to Sony, and it's too late. Because you can't get Sony to revert to something that makes them no money anymore. You can't do that. So while their large network of YouTube channels, TikTok creators, and X accounts then act as rebroadcasters, clipping, quoting, and amplifying that material to mass audiences. Come on, y'all. Stop acting like you don't see this on Twitter X. Y'all know you know who they are. Same ones that do this. They rebroadcast the regurgitating cycle is what I call it. Come on, y'all. Y'all scared? What you scared of? The people who are doing it are not professionals. So what are you scared of? They can't sue you. What are you scared of? You want to fit in like a wildebeest? Is that what you're doing? You feel like, you don't have real friends or something in life? Because these people don't care nothing about you. What are you trying to do? Be cool? That's high school stuff, right? I thought we were grown men. You stand on your own toes when you're a grown man, right? You don't have somebody holding you, walking around with your hand, right? Guiding you along, right? You grown, right? You scared to tell these clowns that you can see their circus? You scared of it? Because that's what they're gambling off on. They're gambling off on the fact that you're scared to say something. Many of these creators operate with the same incentive as the old system, just one step removed. They want access, early information, review copies, sponsorships, or event invites. Come on, y'all. Y'all act like y'all don't see this? Now, I dare the industry. This is what the legal is doing. I'm daring to change the whole atmosphere. And let's see where they go now. If they're strong like you think they are, remove everything. Let's see how strong they are. Were any of y'all watching them prior to? Were y'all big fans prior to? The history. We gonna fake it till nothing's left? The safest way to protect the access is to stay aligned with the narratives coming from the top. This creates an effective filter. The sponsorship and access relationships stay mostly behind the scenes. By the time the information reaches regular players, it has been polished and often presented as independent commentary. The joke's on y'all. And then he says this. A clear example is Christopher Dream. After years running an editorial gaming industry biz, he launched his own outlet called The Game Business. He publicly thanked Sony for sponsoring it. He has also stated directly that he does not consider himself a traditional game journalist. His audience is industry professionals, including the platform holders themselves. And when he posts sales data or commentary that consistently paints Xbox in a negative light, that content spreads quickly. Hint, hint. Dreamcast guy, the method. You're telling me that even a method can be a part of this effectively. Creator Face himself can effectively be a part of this because they done told him, hey, look, he done figured it out. All I got to do is say Xbox dead, PlayStation dead. Look, when PlayStation said they stopped, PlayStation's dead. He's not here for the culture of gaming, people. Y'all calling yourselves gamers. And y'all don't even put the culture first. You put these lanes first above the culture. And you're wondering why things are so negative right now. When they paint Xbox in a negative light, that content spreads quickly. It gets clipped and turned into videos and threads by multiple creators who cover the console space. Some do it because they agree with the framing. Others do it because staying in the good graces of prominent industry voices helps their own access and sponsorship opportunities. This is how the modern version of the system functions, and it achieves its goal. It shapes the public perception. The original relationships and sponsorships remain relatively protected, while the narrative gets widely distributed through people who have every reason to stay on the right side of the information gatekeepers. And this is not a bug in gaming journalism. It is the feature. Shout outs to Abstract. Shout outs to Abstract Concept. This was one of the most realest things I've read in a very long time. Kudos to him. Yep. Look what kudos to him. Extra kudos to Abstract Concept. You get 21 gun salute here on DIRREC Gaming. You get a moment of homage on my channel. It was an honor to read that. I loved it. Awesome. I was wild. The courage it took to put that out there. Salute to you. I wish there was 50,000 more just like you for that. But like Cage said, Cage Cunning Linguist said, legal. Remember when Jim Ryan was trying to hold a controller? Exactly. Exactly. Do y'all know that PlayStation was scared? Do y'all know that? Do y'all know they were scared? They were scared of going into 2013 because of the high wave of Microsoft, the dominance. They were intimidated. They were frustrated. Microsoft dropped that ball. This notion that PlayStation is this impenetrable horse made of indestructible metal is a lie. In the lead up to E3 2013, Sony was indeed deeply intimidated by the Xbox 360 dominance of the previous generation after a disastrous launch with the highly priced, difficult to develop for PlayStation 3, and young straight in our face and said, I give it 5. I give it 5 years for that lying ass console because I knew that console was a lie when it dropped. How did I know? Because I studied the PlayStation 3. Sony had been fighting a desperate uphill battle just to catch up in lifetime sales. That's why the donkeys say, oh, it outsold the 360. Outsell the 360. When a generation comes out, that's the end of that generation. And the Xbox 360 was outselling the PlayStation 3. Microsoft, while my man is telling y'all that they're the PlayStation 3 because they entering the E3 2013 season, the pressure was immense for PlayStation, upcoming PlayStation 4. They didn't walk it. Microsoft held the market lead in the US for years with the Xbox 360 and was looking to capitalize. Microsoft's fault. Look what it says. Look what history says. However, Microsoft severely miscalculated consumer sentiment. When they announced the Xbox One, they faced heavy backlash for introducing restrictive DRM policies that block used games, require daily online check-ins, what we're doing now, and mandated the inclusion of the Kinect. Furthermore, Microsoft priced the console at $499, a full $100 more than what Sony would end up charging the PlayStation 4. Realizing Microsoft had severely stumbled, Sony dramatically pivoted their E3 presentation to directly contrast their rivals' policies. They explicitly confirmed that the PlayStation 4 would not impose any restrictions on used games, will function entirely online, and will launch at a highly competitive $399 price point. This aggressive and fan-centric strategy quickly turned the tide, allowing Sony to dominate the console wars and secure the market lead for that generation. So my answer to my question to Xbox, what an answer is, why will you not capitalize now? Sony stumbled and has now given the victory over to you easily. They put that bad boy right in the palm of your hands, Xbox. They messed up now. Just like how the 360 won them independent gamers. Look at the videos I sent you. My man in there is telling you there's the independent gamers that they're looking at. He says it in those videos. Just watch. We saw them leave PlayStation 3 and came right over here to the 360 because the price point wasn't right. It's not about price point now because everybody knows that prices are high. That's not something to be wondering about. Everything is high. It's what have you done for me lately? It's the key now. Will I have options? Is the key now. Will accessibility be the situation for me at? Is the key now. Gamers are looking like, hey, are you going to cage me in? Or am I going to be able to roam a little bit? Is the key now. This is what I wanted to come out and edify my Xbox community about. They've been known. Sony been known. They okey-doked their entire fan base. They okey-doked them. They admitted it. You want to know why they're not talking about it? Because the PlayStation 5 ain't selling. See, their glory is gone. Their bragging bag is gone. The world is not even buying a PlayStation 5 console. That's right, G-Man. They've always had the 3 keys. Even Sarah Bond saw that. They got the cloud, they got the PC, and they got the console. The cloud is the mobility factor too. They actually got the 4. And they got it. All they got to do is believe in what they have and strategize it and make it work. That's what they got to do. They have to make sure the gamers have the access. Make things work off of what things make sense. Hey, listen, if physical sales are dropping so bad, then okay, but we can't speak for PlayStation. It may still be 20% over on Xbox. It might be still 25%. We don't know. It may have 20. Microsoft may not be in a rush. We don't know yet. We have to wait and see. But one thing we do know for a fact, though, is that physical copies are phasing out. And it's not because, oh, they're mysteriously just phasing out, people. Oh, we don't know what's going on. It's people are not buying physical copies. That's why. Nobody in their right mind is going to put money into something that's not selling. Like, we got to stop this. All right? You got to stop this. Grow up. Grow up, man. Grow up. And grow up. You know, it's not like comic books. Even comic books are digitalized, but hey, there's a thing about comic books because there's still a big, huge mass of people who still comic books. So that you can't even use certain things against certain things. What's going on with the game industry is that people are not buying physical games. Yeah, cloud is an option. Yep. Option. It's one of Microsoft's most powerful things. And when you think about it, right? When you think about it, when they talk about physical copies, they've been pushing away from this stuff for a long time. You got to put your physical copy in and it still has to get updated. If they don't update your physical copy, you can't play it. You don't own it. Sadly enough, the industry has been able to bully that. That's just a fact. You'll still get some prominent people to push back on it. They'll still have hearings and courts about it, and they don't win. You got to understand, this is a $200 billion industry. They've learned how to influence. And listen, IGN is the king of them. IGN knows how to deceive. Pure Xbox, that ain't pure Xbox. Ain't nothing pure about that clown article. That ain't nothing but IGN disguised up. Don't be fooled out here. Be smart. Look into what you're reading. They're here to fool you. They're here to keep a blanket over your eyes. But big bank takes little bank. That's why I started that. That was to give you calmness no matter what. Big bank will always take little bank. I wanted y'all to understand that and let that be the fight that you put in the ground and put your flag on. You can stand on it. You can say, listen, no matter. At the end of the day, those two will go before Xbox goes because the bank is strong. They're talking about they're going to give up on PlayStation. Look how weak that fan base is. During Xbox One, they could never survive the Xbox One era, could they? We did that. That bad boy still came out with 60 million console sales. 60 million with all that bad line ass press. Think about it. That's right. Like that old saying, you can't spell ignorant without IGN. You can't. You can't. They're the kings of it. You go and look at their origin. Those were all PlayStation fans. When the gaming media understood how to micromanage, like my man Abstract Concept said, that was game over, man. They're so spotty webby now. It's a big web. It's hard. Only way things can change is when the industry itself changes. This is why they have no power. You see now, no power and trajectory. It's not up to them. These corporations are going to have to make moves. This AI is something they know nothing about. They know nothing about it. And guess what they can't do? They can't manipulate AI. Why do you think the game media talk so bad about it? You have to understand this stuff. You have to understand it, people. They have come in and just gaslit the gaming culture. The mag that you used to read and had the direct interview, they're gone now. Who do you got to rely on? YouTubers? Don't make me laugh, man, please. Y'all are now relying on YouTubers, content creators. Really? How are they playing games? Content for you. How are you playing games when every day you're doing is listening to them? And you don't see the problem? Why do you think Microsoft said, hey, listen, our problem is time. Where these kids are putting their time at is what we're battling. You got to find a way to put Xbox in front of their eyes. I say reset everything. Bring it back to the streets. Take it right back to the gaming streets. Get away from all of that. That way, the option is us. Xbox Wire is the only article we have to lean on to. It's not fun being an Xbox fan, is it? All you have is Xbox Wire. That's all you have. You step away from Xbox Wire, that's it. You in La La Land. You in the clown circus. You in that jerky circle. Why do you think when Xbox does something that ain't popular, 20 articles say the same? What are y'all doing out here, man? What are y'all doing? Because they only around because y'all support them. Remember doing the 360 era and stuff? That was a bad time for them. You know why? Because we were gaming. That's why they had to be rebought. All those gaming articles got sold off because we were gaming. We wasn't paying attention to them. But you got to understand something. They came back in 2013. I blame Microsoft. Microsoft resurrected because that's what they did. They does that 35 million consoles sold. Like, and how I kept wondering, like, how do they know how many consoles that Xbox sold when Microsoft doesn't report them? But all they know, PlayStation 4 outselling Xbox One 3-1. 3-1. Had you out here looking crazy that you was an Xbox fan. And you an Xbox fan? And you was out here looking crazy. And then here comes Microsoft at the end of the life cycle and had to let us know 60 million. Just like now, right? It took Take-Two to come out here and show y'all that they done put their games out here for the industry going gold. They're gonna be not going. Well, their objective is to go gold. This daggum Grand Theft Auto 2 shipment going, and they know the prominent 2 consoles that they gotta focus on, and so they give you the numbers, and you were shocked because there. And when they gravitated all of that, 52 million, you didn't know how to act, did you, Xbox fans? There shouldn't be not one Xbox fan relying on the Jerkle Circle gaming media. Not one. Because if you are, you just claim the gaming media has to do what they do. They know what they're doing. But do you know what you're doing? Do you know? Like my man the realest one says to y'all, do y'all know why y'all are Xbox fans? You see what you get out of the Centaur Nation. Oh, I own a PlayStation 5, but I don't use it. It collects dust. There's no movement. There's no real movement, man. Everybody knows that everybody has a platform they play the most on, man. Everybody knows that. That's console culture. So I don't care how many consoles you own. You're not playing all those games for it to matter in the first place. You're not playing all those games for it to matter what you own. Doesn't nobody cares what you own. Nobody's putting that much work in, because if they were, then the industry wouldn't be where it's at today. Wouldn't be where it's at today. You still got to use the services. Buying a console, that's just getting you there. You got to turn it on, use it. If you ain't turning it on, using it, you're just part of the problem. Yeah, it sounds funny. From an Xbox super fan, oh, he ain't playing his PlayStation. But on the flip side of the note, that's kind of goofy. Why would you buy something you don't even use? It's kind of goofy when you think about it. Doesn't make sense to me. And I was one of them. And I said, you know what? I'm not buying anything else with my full-grown money that doesn't make any sense anymore. And I told you out the gate, no more Switch 2, no more Nintendo. Nope. And hell no, the PlayStation. There ain't no reason to buy that. Care about gaming like that, bro. It's got to make sense. I'm good. And see how they want to attack Game Pass? They want to attack Game Pass now. They just want to find something to ease their pain. Look, they still don't get it. Focus on your problem. Stop worrying about what Xbox is going to do, because that's our problem. Microsoft already knows to be gentle with Game Pass. She's already came back and pushed back on the price of Game Pass. It's already been pushed back. They're not going to make no more drastic changes to Game Pass, because Game Pass is fragile. You just have to be smart, thoughtful. Oh, they're going to shut down studio. Why would Microsoft shut down studios when they've already told us they have 40 in the works? Big bank takes little bank. They want big bank to look like little bank, and it doesn't look like little bank. Look at all those reports. Y'all still want folks to believe these. All those reports about compulsion gaming. All sites about Blaze and Jeopardy. All fans out here, gaming articles. Oh no, oh, they doom and gloom y'all because they know exactly how to control you. That doom and gloom, that's an emotional masterpiece from Sony's spirit. They know how to make everybody else emotional because they manipulated their own fan base. Why they goofy, bro? You sit up there watching trailers and shit, crying. You see that? They start doing flips and stuff. They weirdos, bro. Because Sony found a way to touch their inner spirit. And I ain't never in my life flipped out over no video game. And these are video games, they're not real. They're meant for enjoyment. They're meant for enjoyment. Yes, there could be real moments. That's the specialty of things. There could be real moments that you feel. The great art of storytelling and gaming. We all understand that stuff. Bro, ain't no need to be getting weird over this stuff, man. And I'm talking about y'all be up in here having dreams about these characters, bro. These donkeys be attached to these characters. It's like these characters are their best friends. We ain't talking like that. Ain't nobody over Xbox talking like that. Y'all be on that weirdo stuff. But it is what it is. And when we just gotta somehow, we gotta be more courageous. I mean, that's what it's gonna take. You're gonna have to be more vocal. You got to call it out. You're gonna have to, you can't let it sit around. You're gonna have to check them because y'all are the most powerful force out here. And like Abstract Concept put out, man, everything that he said in that article is dead true. They have erased y'all from the public view, the gamer. You've been replaced. And ever since you've been replaced, nothing has been right. Remember them days when Microsoft used to come out in the streets and just give Xboxes away? Where are those days at? Microsoft's PR team is trash. We've been saying that for years. We've been saying it for years. Trash. They're just as guilty too. Flying these YouTubers. Really? These YouTubers are not influencing nobody. Nobody is going to buy a damn console because a YouTuber said so. Nobody know nobody. Nobody around here is on Superstar. We got to cut this goofy stuff out. There's no professionalism in none of this. Such thing as a fictional YouTuber. What are we doing out here? Fictional YouTuber. You're running a business, man. YouTube has already been built. The professionals are the ones that are controlling YouTube. You don't run YouTube. You're a content creator. Until you create a business of your own, okay then. All right. You can have something of your own on YouTube. For example, Shannon Sharp has Club Shay Shay on YouTube, but Club Shay Shay is ran and owned by Shannon Sharp. And Stephen A. Smith got Sharpshooter. Yeah, it's on YouTube, but Sharpshooter is created and ran and controlled by Stephen A. Smith. You get where I'm going with that? It's like you have to own something. It is what it is. It's ran by Cameron and Mace. It's on YouTube, but it's ran by Cameron and Mace. YouTube don't have no power over that. That's professionalism. Salute to all y'all that came out to me today, this morning for Di-RRec Gaming. Shouts to all of y'all. Get y'all in here and have some fun with each other. Y'all do y'all's thing in the mighty chat pack. But I owed it to y'all to come down that timeline because I got tired of looking at this pretending that's going on. And these donkeys feel validated. They feel like they are privileged. You're not privileged. You've been bamboozled. You've been bamboozled. You don't want to admit it. So you want to threaten the same thing that fed y'all. Now y'all want to start acting like you got sense. Too late. You was too worried about us. You're not going to get rid of Xbox. Xbox boldly done talked about another console. Already boldly talked about Project Helix. Sony don't boldly talk about no PlayStation 6 because there ain't one. And you still running around here on these donkey YouTube content channels that are lying to you, telling you that a damn PlayStation 6 coming out next year. There's no damn kid. There's no nothing. There's no rumor. There's not even a rumor. Somebody ain't came out, told y'all nothing. But you gonna listen to somebody like MGB. A dude who couldn't even shine in the Xbox streets. He belongs in them line-ass PlayStation fields. He's right where he needs to be. The dummy came out of the Xbox. He can't stand in here. It's too truthful here. And anybody else who flipped, you can't reside in the Xbox street being fake. The fakes are for the PlayStation platforms. The PlayStation Transformers. The Decepticons. Shit, you can't, I mean, the joke's on you. They played y'all in 2013. There's nothing else to talk about. You ignored it in 2014. What's up, fam? When the truth came out in 2014, y'all ignored it. 2015, they told you that your first party games were scarce. That's all right, because we're gonna rely on the other party games. They destroyed your narrative because they wasn't prepared for y'all anyway. They didn't have no games for you. Call of Duty ain't theirs. Order 1886 trash. Killzone flop. Knack flop. Underperformed debut. It's trash. Then they told y'all another lie. Oh, we strongly support indie games because they had no true direction. They were trying to live on that lie. Oh, look, I'm gonna follow y'all right through y'all's time. Then they told you they love the indie games. A couple of years after that, indie games are just, they're not as relevant as they used to be. Jim Ryan, not as relevant as they used to be. Jim Ryan. A couple years later, the indie games they're not relevant like they used to be. Charging up to get indie 10,000 put on a platform. You get people to believe them. You get Cliffy B to come out there. His game flop. You get Vince Vimpella, right? RIP to him. Titanfall 2. Put that faith in that line platform. Flop. You don't put no faith in a line platform community. It's proven year after year after year after year. And then here comes Phil Spencer going to try to do the thing. He was trying to do something that was, he's going to show everybody in the world that he could do it. Didn't work. Putting games on PlayStation didn't bring no value to Xbox. Didn't work. 7 straight fiscal counts flopped for Xbox. Something has to happen. Phil never engaged in the streets. Phil was worrying about toxicity and loyalty, the things you should be caring about. Loyalty, brand loyalty, yeah. Because that's where your core out. Phil ain't nobody buying an Xbox but us. That's what you should have been focusing on. You was trying to kumbaya, but if you really wanted to do something to Phil, you had the power to yeah. You was too worried about what the console war was doing. The console war lived on. Because the console war monster. I never understood why Microsoft went away from Peter Moore's ideology. Peter Moore sold more consoles than anybody. Wouldn't you? Fine. Wouldn't you think you would take a page out of his? Them PlayStation fans ain't buying no games. Forza Horizon 5 came at a desperate time. They're not going to buy Combat Evolved. They ain't buying no damn Gears of War. They ain't buying none of that Reloaded. They didn't even buy Starfield. And you can forget the rest of them. Sea of Thieves, 1.8. That's just a live service team. That's just there to make chump change. That's chump change. Sea of Thieves ain't bringing all that money in there like that. Sea of Thieves ain't Minecraft. It ain't Candy Crush. It ain't Call of Duty. It's just live service, man. You gonna tell me that Sea of Thieves can't make money like that just off your 3 powerhouses? You mean to tell me the PC community ain't enough and the cloud community ain't enough and Game Pass ain't enough for Sea of Thieves to be successful on Xbox? They can't look me in the straight face and tell me that. Yes. But if we want to play this game, a live service game, go ahead. Because Sony can't reciprocate what Microsoft is doing with the live service games. Nobody cares about Marathon, bro. Destiny 2 is dead. What are we talking about here? What are we getting out of it? I laughed at this. You know what I'm saying? This is not a fair level play game right here. This is Microsoft doing something with PlayStation that PlayStation can't even do for Xbox. They can't even do it. It ain't that they even have the games to do it with, but they just can't even do it. Marathon's down to 4,000 players. Just wait till Grand Theft Auto 6 come out. It's gone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Down to Helldivers 2. We ain't even playing Helldivers 2. Who plays Helldivers 2? This is the funny part about it all. I'm telling y'all. They can't even do they trying to figure out what kind of games is gonna stick. You played around too long. You played around with PlayStation 4 sales too long. Y'all should have been practicing on live service games last generation. But yet y'all wanted to go with VR. VR flunked. Now we're hearing rumors of Vita making a back. Vita. Okay. And you think now here's the 2 crying about how expensive the PlayStation 6 is, and Vita attract real gamers. What the Portal did by being cheap, nobody bought it. And come out here and start talking. PlayStation, the Vita underperformed so bad, PlayStation don't even talk about it. They don't even talk about it. It's the PlayStation Portal. What's PlayStation VR 2? Nobody knows about that stuff. Gone. Nobody talks about it. Gone. They don't stop. The industry stopped making video games for it. They don't even have video games coming out for it. And the PlayStation community is going to continue to look for saviors in an industry that's built to keep them blind. And you cannot make this stuff up. You just can't make it up. And they really wonder, they're really wondering why this stuff is happening to them. They're lost right now. Sony done threw God of Laundry at them. They talking about God of Laundry. Well, I'll tell you. Wolverine looks like a cross-gen game. Wolverine was a cross-gen game. It's not even, look at that. That's Wolverine was a PlayStation 4 game. Cross-gen. Nobody cares, bro. It comes out, it's going to go. It's going to sell, be done with it. Done. When you going to see how corny it is that Wolverine keeps striking before somebody dies. That's not going to be that interesting anymore. The game doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't take Wolverine 6 to get rid of him. It's crazy. Crazy. Talking people with cybergenetic bodies. That's perfect for Wolverine. His claws are just slicing all through that. It ain't like he's fighting the Blob. It ain't like everybody you fight is the Blob. I know, G-Man. Worst thing Marvel ever did was put their damn games on PlayStation because they don't even make sense anymore. I know. I've been saying that. Game says legal offers look so ridiculous bad. To the Roxy account. Thank you, man. Frank. Nah, for real, man. It just, man, like, you can't, the Sony can't be truthful with these clowns, man. They can't. Look, I'm not even knocking Sony for what they're doing. They got to do what they got to do. Survival mode. Try to tell them. That's survival mode. They want to stick with those single player games that build no continual profit in. They do nothing. They do nothing. Now here we are. The whole world is looking at, it's not looking at what Nintendo's going to do. The whole world ain't paying attention to what Sony's going to do. The world is paying attention to that 100-day reset. Gaming media is starving to see what Microsoft is going to do with Xbox with under Asha Sharma. That's the suspense that's killing them. And in the meantime, because it's closed-knit, right? They rumorified. Now all they can do is give the bus community rumors. Nobody's talking to them. Nobody. They go to these events or whatever, you know. It is what it is. They got to play their game. But we really know who Microsoft is. That Windows is bigger than anything in gaming. That Windows is a monster. Steam even has to have it. Without Windows, Steam is falling into abyss. It has no foundation. Sony can't give no foundation for Steam. Nintendo can't give no foundation for Steam. Linux can't give no foundation for Steam. That's right, Jago. Sony got rid of all those movies to make space for the digital games. And you want to know why they don't understand what you're saying, Jago? Because when they remove those movies and that space that you're talking about, that's that memory space. That's that storage facility. That's all Sony has used their cloud for. It's all about memory. That's why you can't own nothing out of that service. That place that you can't own nothing out of that. You can't save when you right on the PlayStation Plus. When you stop payment and your service ends, whatever you did on that game ends. That's it. When you come back, reschedule your payment back up, you got to start all over again. Because it costs them more to have a real cloud service like Xbox. When we're on our Game Pass, we can actually own our games, people. It's still a storefront. We go in there, we can buy any game on there. Any game on there. We get a discount price too. And if we decide to not want to do it and when we let the thing expire, when we come and we'll come, well, we start right where we left off. Right where we left off. Let me get this right real quick. I just want to get the name real quick. Shout out to Day Reason. It's scammy and sad, right? Let me get this right for them. They are backing superheroes. No, they're locking superheroes that Sony didn't even create behind a console. Yet people want original Xbox games to go all over. Yeah, it's true. That's sad, man. Yeah. They're blocking them. You can't, it is what it is. That's the situation with Sony. Because without that, there's really no reason, right? They don't really have the perception, right? Since the beginning. It's messed up. Some man said it's scummy. And it's sad at the same time. We're talking about Marvel characters. Mean that much. That's why they want that. And you want to know something? He's so right. That's why they want Blade to fail. Because we finally got our major Marvel game and they want it to fail. It's Blade. They don't want us to have anything. I do, OG. OG Santa, I do. I do. I think Starfield and Indiana Jones got scammed over with that multi-platform BS. Yeah. Here comes Indiana Jones late December or mid-December or beginning December. That's right. December the 8th, I think, when it came out. And they got critically acclaimed, man. It was a good game. Indiana Jones was surprisingly a good game to play. It was a lot of fun. I love the details. I love the way it looked. Nice. And the guy who played a young Harrison Ford did an amazing job. I mean, you put all that together, it's just, I don't know, man. It's rough over here on Xbox, y'all. It's rough, man. I'm just, the thing about it is with Microsoft and Xbox is, it's going to really need some self-care, man. Moving forward, man, my Xbox needs some love, man. Gosh. I mean, they've had some jewels and they just let go away. They just keep, like I said, my hope was Gears of War E-Day, and when they did what they did, I'm all right. That told me they know better. They know. That was my whole foot down. I said, I'm not saying nothing until I see the results of Gears of War E-Day. was stuck on that. That was one of those moments, man, where you just be quiet and let it happen. And it did. And I was like, man, they came through. Now it's to get Halo back. There should have been no reason why Master Chief is over there. Yeah, the thing about that Bethesda team, Rain, was yeah, you're right. I'm gonna look that up too, because a lot of people don't believe. He's always wanted it. What Todd and Howard don't understand is we don't care that you've had a long-standing relationship with PlayStation or with Sony. We don't care about that. Microsoft bought your company. Microsoft bought Bethesda. Sony didn't buy you. That's where this whole focus, this whole new mindset. Yep, Asha's right. That's why that clockwork hurts. It hurts the haters. It hurts the ops. And then was told them we're getting 2 a year. That's fair enough right now. So things change because they're watching us. The only thing I can say to the Xbox community is get out there and talk with your wallets, man. Buy them games. Shout out to everybody that went out there and bought that Forza Horizon 6. That's what you're supposed to do. You show the world that our games don't have to go to PlayStation. We don't get nothing out of them, no way. We get nothing out of them. And don't try to come up with this live service BS about Forza Horizon 6. It's open world. It's an open world community racer. Only 5 million of them engaged on it. Only 5 million. That's nothing to brag about. 5 million engaged on it. It's nothing to brag about. The Xbox community already have built that space. We've already built that space. We gave them a little piece of land that they can go over there and play on. That's it. It's not like our games need to go anywhere. Those are legacy titles, man. Put some respect on your legacy titles. Because Sony ain't giving us none of their legacy titles. You got to fight fire with fire. You got to believe. You know? Honestly, big time publisher. I get it. I'm not lost in that. Okay. You know, but nobody's crying about Fallout. Nobody's crying about that. Put it out there. I'm sure not crying about no damn Fallout. Put it out there. Nobody's crying about Minecraft. Put it out there. That makes sense. Makes sense. Let's get to these 100 days, y'all. I think what, August, we should know something. Basically, Microsoft's gonna have to execute, man. She's been doing pretty good. She's been doing, no, not pretty good. She's been doing great. Her first one, stay on that trajectory. Stay right there. Don't come off that path. Look at that player's voice. Look at that. And follow that guideline. Follow that player's voice, and you just can't lose. She can't lose. I'm with you, Cage. That Elder Scrolls 6 is exclusive. Sure, it's going to break the internet down. It's already put in there that it is. See, they don't know nothing about those games. They don't do those games. That's our stuff. And that game is perfect for next generation. The things that'll be used in it is perfect for the next generation. Why would you downsize that capability to fit that PlayStation 5? Why would you do that? Why would you? That's what I'm saying. We don't. It's going to have to come a time where we don't have to compromise our games. You know, what we invested in is what we invest in. There's a reason. There's a reason. You see what happens when you have to downside for PlayStation 5, you get State of Decay 3 like it is right now, just an upgraded version of State of Decay 2. Piss me off. That's what happens. All Microsoft has to do with Xbox is make sure that it makes great games. The reason why Microsoft with the 360 could take the gaming market away and only had 5 studios back then is because every game that came out was super great. And you got people up here trying to tell me that's not the key for it today. Yes, it is. Same exact key. You don't, oh, they're going to invest in just big title games. Let them. They got big bank. Why should they act like little bank? Little bank can't do that. So why should Microsoft act like that? Nah, let's build those Halo. Let's get this Halo back on. We got that Gears looking good. Let's get that Forza Motorsport legendary looking. Let's get Fable. Look at Fable. If you think Fable look good right now, you imagine everything of the Series X. It looks that good right now. Yeah, you will, Cage. Start saving up right now, bro. Put back $50. You'll be able to afford it right now. Put $50 back. Y'all put $50 back, man. Ain't nobody living up. If all you got is $50 left to live up for, that's hard. That's rough. And I know y'all are not like that. Put it back. I've always been telling y'all to do that. I don't care if it's $25, put it back. Use every reward points, use everything to get it. Use everything. Start now. Don't wait. Don't wait till a good year. You got start now. You got some years, some change, because it might come out 2027 in November. Just start now. G-Man said, give me, or use it at your tax return. You got your tax return, put it away. Say, I'm putting this back for the Helix. That's how you do it. That's how you gotta look at it. You can't look at it as a whole. Don't ever look at it as a whole, because that's when it gets frustrating. That's too much money. Break it up. Break it into increments. Because we're going somewhere where frauds can't go, y'all. Frauds can't come with us. We're going to show the whole world what we're about when it comes to Project Helix. Make sure we do that. We don't sit around and cry. We only talk about things when it don't make no sense. We told Asha when we finally got that new leader, everybody came out, man. We saw people we've never seen before in our communities come out on Twitter X and speak to her. She had no choice, no option when she came down to speak. What mattered the most? She saw it. And you want to know what was funny, y'all? What the Xbox community said they wanted was totally opposite from what Abstract Concept wrote about. The ones that are in the Turkle Circle. They were talking about getting rid of Game Pass. The hell in they right damn mind would get rid of Game Pass or exclusives. Real Xbox saying, nah, we keeping both. You had these people saying stupid stuff like that. Goofies, man. Like, I'm like, what? Who tells these people to think like this is crazy? They don't give us options. No, we want it all. We want it all. They listened. the streets of Xbox says we want exclusives. That was the #1 thing. The Jerko Circle was saying, nah, exclusives ain't gonna make 12% increase sales of Xbox. As a result, those first 100 days, 12% increase of Xbox sales. For real, right? That really happened. But Rain G4, this is true story. True story. It baffles you. But now what I've exposed to y'all about, what Abstract Concepts wrote down, shouldn't baffle you. You should know exactly why they said that. That's why nobody ever cared about what they said. They're plants. They're industry plants. Industry plants. What's going on, Tegan? Tegan X, come on through, bro. Industry plants are just put there. No matter how many events you go to, I don't care about that. I don't care about none of that. That ain't got nothing to do with my gaming. How many events and shows you go to, that ain't selling games. That's not doing anything. You got to get out here and buy these video games, y'all. Get out here and buy video games. Get out here and edify your community. Get out here and y'all talk about what's the concerns, and then get on your social media platforms and express it all together. Back each other up. Because back each other up. Let Microsoft know that we understand that the digital content is in the masses. We understand that. But we like to use our Xboxes for movie media and stuff like that, because movie media is not gone. We like to use it to watch our movies on. There's no DVD players out here. They're not selling them like that. I still like to watch a movie every now and then. I could do it on my Xbox. If to me, I'm looking like this, y'all. Honestly, I'm looking like this. If Microsoft was moving away from physical copies right now, right? They didn't put out that signal like that. The signal's not that strong. What I mean is, because I know I ordered the Gears of War Collector's Edition, Gears of War E-Day Collector's Edition, and it's coming with a physical copy. I ain't got a trip because it's coming on Game Pass too. My son still gets to play it. So I was good. I just finally wanted a collector's edition. They did everything I was hoping for. Notice how Microsoft made sure every one of them had a collector's edition to it. That was lovely. And we're getting a new customized console for the 25th anniversary. Lovely. Why? Because they heard what was important to us. It's beautiful. When you just listen to your base, you won't ever have a problem, because you can always build off of that. But when you ignore it, you're going to have a problem, because that outside foundation out there will never give you what your core will give you. They cherry pick it. PlayStation fans will just cherry pick our games. We don't cherry pick our games. We're going to appreciate them. And that's what you see happening. That's why they'll say one thing, but they'll do another thing. They don't add up. Wait a minute, y'all. Look at them right now. Not one of them is even talking about Halo coming on PlayStation 5. All of a sudden, look how that doesn't matter to them all of a sudden now. Halo campaign evolved. They ain't even talking about it. Doesn't matter right now, because physical copies got them in their feelings. It didn't matter to them in the first place. That was just a brag in the back. Equip yourself to know these things. Don't go crazy over this gaming media stuff, y'all. That's the reason of me doing this show today. That was the main reason. Stop paying too much attention to it. You guys been out here too long. You're seasoned vets. you know that the news ain't the news until the company says it's the news. See, you see how that worked? They can say whatever they wanted to say about Sony. They ain't getting physical copies after 2028. Look at them now. Sony threw them lightning bolts down. It ain't news until Sony says it's news. That's right, Nene. They finally looking in-house and it's too late. That's what this is all about. Now the donkey's got to deal with realism. Now the narrative can save that. A myth can't save that. Lies can't save that. Narratives can't save that. You're not getting physical copies 2028. The boat has been, the gavel has hit the mallet. Why? Because it ain't making sense for us to do this. We're at the 10% mark. We're losing money making physical copies. Why? Because PlayStation fans don't buy physical copy games. That's it. You look at you go on Twitter X, you're just part of the donkey community. So what that's all made up this way. Hey man, I appreciate that, G-Man. I do my best, bro. But you know what, G-Man? Keep it real. Y'all won't allow me to put out no fake news, bro. As long as we've been out here, nah. Y'all will correct me, and y'all will correct me the quickest way. I couldn't come out here and be fake. Y'all wouldn't allow it. And that's just telling the truth. Frank G4 said the PlayStation 3 was the #1 console in streaming Netflix and Pornhub. And PlayStation 5 is still the #1 console to stream Pornhub. They subscribing to that, bro. They subscribing to it. That's crazy. The #1 thing that they use the VR for, man, it's crazy. Bunch of weirdos, bro. They no wonder they stopped making games for VR. None of those games were holding their interest. They were on Pornhub. It's crazy, man. So now, y'all, we're gonna get up out of here, man. We're gonna get up out of here. Like I said, I appreciate y'all, man. I hope the mic. I hope this PlayStation. I hope this PlayStation controller and mic held up for y'all today, man. But all seriousness aside, thank y'all for coming out though. It was a pleasure. Get this 4th of July off early. Come out to y'all, talk to y'all. Y'all come out, talk amongst each other. And just wanted to give y'all some serious things to look at. That all of this is not real. It's all pretending. Was coming. They knew it was gonna come. Sony been on it, but they played for the moment. They blindfolded their fan base and they went along with this lie until it couldn't, lies have expiration dates on them. The truth never does. And now that the lie has ran its course, that's what I've been saying on Di-RRec Gaming for the longest. Y'all just hold y'all's horses, no pun intended, because this car, but these wheels on it, or this chariot, whatever you want to call this vehicle, the wheels are gonna fall off. Gonna fall off one day. And the truth is gonna have to be held accountable for the PlayStation brand. Sony did this, and the donkeys did this. True PlayStation fans don't even buy them exclusives. They play Xbox fans. They play the Xbox games on their PlayStation. Play Xbox games and third-party games. That's it. Play nothing else. Shout out to the Mighty Chat Pack for coming out with your boy. I go by the name of the new legal. Di-RRec Gaming to the fullest. Shout out to my panel, compadres. Y'all know who they are. The realest one. Resident Gamer Zero, Spar 117, Games Traders. And our brother from another country. Well, Another big island. We'll just put it like that. The crazy Lou, representing the Dominican Republic. Over there in the Spanish community, doing what he does. Shouts to all the real gamers out there, man. For real. Shouts to the real gamers out there, man. Just holding it down. And one more thing I want to say. As Xbox fans, get on your Xbox and have fun. Don't even worry about this stuff. Because you're going to be in good hands. Go play your video games. And laugh at everything else. You see a rumor? Laugh at it. Just laugh at it. Play your video games. Do what y'all do. Get in those party chats. Y'all talk it up. Have a good time. Play video games. Don't tuck your chain for nobody. Keep it gaming. Hey, over here on Di-RRec, one job to do. Just one. And that's to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us game. While we doing that, we're here to bring the gaming back to the streets and streets back to gaming. On top of that, if you like what we're about, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Never miss a beat on the ones and twos as we grab these mics and get on stage and perform for you. But we just don't like to be up on stage by ourselves. So we got all these infinite mics. Y'all get up on the stage with us, man. And we're going to perform out. Y'all stay blessed, stay safe, eat well, have fun on this 4th of July. See you on the flip side. Till next time. Peace. We out of here.